Hi Sagittarians, my name is Sherry and I'm going to be doing your monthly forecast for February 2019. This is a general reading. It's called a zodiac spread, and it will give you an idea of what's happening in several areas in your life for the month of February. Okay, so we're going to start with the first card in your first house. And the first house is how people perceive you for this month. And they perceive you as a very fair person. They perceive you as a generous person. This is the card of give and take, and sometimes it can represent helping people out who are in need. In the work environment, you're known as being fair. You're not, a person that wants to cheat other people or be cheated. It's a pentacle card, so oftentimes, this month people can see you through how you handle your money or your work environment, and your general feeling of wanting fairness in all of your transactions. So this is how the world is seeing you right now. It could be through your work or through your personality of being a fair person. Okay, in your second house, you have the Lover's card, and the second house is your money house. So this month, you may have to make some choices regarding your finances. Choices can be many things. It can be choices with investments, choices with, buying A instead of buying B. Because you have this card in your first house, it could even mean who you give money to in terms of charities. So this is a card where you will be making some decision about your money in the month of February. Okay, in the third house, this is the house of communications. It can be with neighbors, siblings, or cousins. It can also be your online communications. You're showing some delays and setbacks in this area for the month of February. So I believe Mercury is going to go retrograde in the middle of the month, and this may affect the Sagittarians more than others. But it does indicate that you'll need patience. The communications that you may want to receive or hear news about may be delayed, or you may feel that you're having some setbacks with communicating with people and getting things done, because the wands represent energy and fire. And when this card is in reverse, it indicates that things are not happening as speedily as you would like them to happen. Now, this can be in your communications or in people getting back to you. And again, usually this refers to your family, your neighbors, your environment. So if you're online, it can be that also, that communications will not necessarily come in as quickly as you'd like, or the results of your communications might feel a little bit stymied or blocked or delayed at this time. In your home, you have a beautiful card. This is the card of thinking back. It's a little bit of a card of sentimentality and reminiscing about your childhood. It can also mean that you have a very innocent relationship with someone in your home, and this is the card of sweetness and not naivete, but no hidden agendas, just a very nice relationship if you are living with someone. And even, again, thinking back to the past may happen a lot in the month of February, thinking about your childhood, thinking about friends from your past. So there'll be a little bit of sentimentality or reminiscing happening for you in the month of February, and this will come up mostly when you're home. Okay, in your house of new love, this is the fifth house, or your children, you have the High Priestess. So this means that either you, in a new relationship, have found someone that is quite alluring in the sense that there's a mystery about this person. You do not know everything about them. They appear to be someone who might have an unrevealed future. This can be in the arts, in mysticism, in music, in acting, poetry, dance. I call this card the Grace Kelly card. So for those of you out there that are men, in the last 3 years, that's what I consider a new relationship. The person that's entered your life is a person that's a little like the Mona Lisa. They're a mystery to you. You're not entirely clear, what their real future holds or what their desires are. And yet they represent an eternal feminine to you, very attractive, very mysterious. And so if this is a man who's listening to this reading, this woman is going to be quite intriguing for you. You won't be able to figure the person out, but they do have a lot of intuition and perception, and they tend to be attractive physically. If this is one of your children, they have some of these traits, and it will be a little difficult to navigate this child's future, because this is the card again of uncertainty and mystery. And so it will be hard to box this child into an easy career or category, because they have a lot of talent and a lot going on under the surface. And their future may not be as predictable as other children. If you're a woman, I would just say that a man, because these are general readings, a man has these qualities of mystery and creativity, and certainly intuition and perception. In your house of work, you have the work card, Sagittarius, so this is a good card. It does mean that you have to punch the clock and put in hours to get your income. Sometimes I call this proletariat card. Your work for the month of February may not feel very glamorous. It's the card of the worker bee, and doing things properly and doing things well, but hours are involved in your income. You won't just earn money easily. Everything is turning, like Capricorn is in Saturn now, and so for most people, hard work is going to be required to earn a decent living and to have the income that you desire. So you may be putting in more hours if you weren't working a 40-hour week. This card indicates, punching the clock and generally, doing the 9 to 5. No surprises there. Okay, in your partnership house, you have the card of competition. Now, partnerships can be business. They can be relationship mates, lovers. They can be family members. I don't know who your children, whomever you consider partners in your life. There's a competitive aspect to your relationships this month. Generally, I don't see this card as a negative card like many readers do. For me, this is competition. Sometimes there may be a little struggle involved because the competition may get a little fierce. In the business world, this is obvious that you have competitors, whether they're people that have your same skills and you're competing for jobs, or you're competing for projects or resources, or you have similar companies to you that are doing what you do and you have to stay on top. So this card is perfectly natural for business. To have this card there just means you have to stay on the top of your game and apply, your energy and your talent so that you are in the game with your competitors. If this is more about a personal relationship, this indicates that your personalities tend to not conflict or in any way negatively conflict, but you bring out a sparring aspect in each other. And competition can be very healthy. Sometimes when you're with someone who challenges you or is better or as good as you at something, it brings up your game a little bit. So even in personal relationships, this card indicates that, you may have a little bit of an ego thing going on, a competitive edge. Just be careful, that you keep it within a fun context. You don't always have to be right or have the upper hand or win every argument or discussion if you're in a personal relationship. And this, again, could be with a mate, it could be with your children, it could be with a family member, and of course, the logical thing here is business. Okay, in your eighth house, this is the house of shared resources. It's also the house of your bedroom. So many of you do have someone who's courting you now. This is the Page of Cups. And so if this is regarding your intimate life, it really means that whomever you're with is showing a great deal of romanticism, is seducing you, is wooing you. And so there's a lovely aspect to this card. Usually the Knight of Cups is nice looking and well mannered, and so and charming. And so your love life this month should be nice if you've been with someone who hasn't always brought you flowers or taken you to dinner or had a date in 10 years. You might get surprised this month because this is the card of courtship. And so somebody definitely wants to be in your intimate life. And so you will be having a proposal or an offer in that area. If this represents shared resources, this could indicate that someone's making a proposal to you about those resources. They're pitching an idea, or you are pitching an idea or a proposal to someone regarding an inheritance or shared resources. Okay, in your ninth house, this is the house of your higher education, legal, lawsuits, publishing, and travel. And you have the advice card here, the counselor. So you can be giving counsel to someone, or you could be receiving wisdom and good advice and counsel from someone else. Now, if it was travel, this would be a travel agent or a person that went to a certain location and they're filling you in on why it's good to go on this trip or not. If it's a legal suit or anything legal that you're involved in, this indicates that you will be getting very good advice and counsel. So your legal counsel would be excellent at this time. If this is regarding publishing, again, same attributes. You would be getting advice or counsel on how to do it. And finally, if it's higher education, it's also a very good card. You would be getting the right information about pursuing this education and how to go about it and the wisest way to do it. In your career house, it's very interesting. You have the card of rest after labor. So in the month of February, your work house says that, you have to punch the clock to make the money. And in your money house, it says you may have to make a decision. And in your 10th house, this is how the world sees you. So, you do have a sense of relaxation right now or celebration. This can be that you've attained a goal, you've reached a number, you've reached a plateau, and you don't have to struggle or exert a lot of energy right now. It's almost as if, your career is set and you're not putting everything on automatic, but this indicates that there's a harmony that you've achieved in your profession or your career, and you're not you're not applying a huge amount of energy right now. You're enjoying what you have accomplished, what you've attained, and you can be maintaining it, but in a very relaxed state. So this is an interesting card to have because usually Sagittarians are very driven. This is a Wands card, so it does imply there's energy. However, it's rest after labor, so I think a lot of you Sagittarians in the month of February are going to be looking at what you did accomplish in 2018 and just taking a little breather and regrouping and enjoying what you've accomplished. Okay, in your house of friendships and higher hopes and dreams, visions, you have a new friendship here appearing. So for many of you in the month of February, you could be meeting someone who is going to be an exciting person. You're going to feel an emotional connection with them. This is usually a very nice start to a relationship, and so it gives you hope. Sometimes it's harder to make friendships when you're older, and the ones always have a lot of energy, and so this relationship is going to feel very energized, and it's going to inspire you in a way. So you do have a lovely new friendship. If it's your hopes and dreams, the one again is a lot of emotional energy in your hopes and dreams, and you can be going back to, again, your childhood or your youth and thinking about what were your dreams and visions, and you may actually take up one of those areas that you had wanted to pursue in your life. So it could work either way in the 11th house. And then finally in the 12th house, you have a very stern figure here. This is the King of Swords. And the 12th house represents karma. It represents a part of yourself that you haven't totally mastered yet. And so you can have two